Coming up, an ancient ritual performed in modern times. Can this cactus explain how the cult of Chavin controlled an empire using hallucinogens instead of spears? We're digging for the truth on the History Channel. Images carved into a sacred relic took me first to the Amazon jungle, then into the depths of a 2,500-year-old temple of doom. I've learned that Chavin's existence depended on religious ceremonies fueled by a variety of mind-altering botanicals. But how? My best lead at this point is a hallucinogenic plant called the San Pedro cactus. I travel 140 miles from Chavin to the old colonial city of Trujillo, near the Pacific Ocean. Trujillo is a bustling and prosperous city, seemingly very modern in everything but architecture. But could it be possible that religious traditions, which began in Chavin 2,500 years ago, still flourish here today? In the city square, I meet Doug Sharon from the University of California, Berkeley.
We can go meet a curandera in the market.
Doug is taking me to meet Julia Calderon. She's a curandera, a modern shaman. Some people know them as folk healers. Julia's father was a famous curandero, and she carries on the family tradition. She leads us into the main market of Trujillo, where people buy vegetables, clothes, electronic gear, and practically anything else. We come to a stand that specializes in goods for curanderos, like San Pedro cactus. But buying San Pedro is not simple. It's like a fine wine. It must be mature and come from a good region.
So is this a good one? Or
this is a good one, yeah. One with the scar tissue is one of the best ones because it's mature.
It's firm.
We end up with 4 cactus buds. But that's just the beginning. We also need perfume, lots of it, and special, strong tobacco.
From the jungle. Yeah, it's good, strong stuff. But take that. Muy bien, vamos, yeah. Adelante, comadre.
By late afternoon, we're walking through a quiet neighborhood. The sea is just a few blocks away. Everything seems very normal. Preparations for the evening ahead begin immediately with the ingredients we just purchased. The San Pedro is cooking away.
And it's the juice that you take, that you drink during the session.
Julia sets up her mesa, a table which contains everything she'll need for the ceremony. Images of Jesus are next to ancient healers. There's tobacco mixed with water, perfume, corn flour, and healing staffs, each with a special power to cure a particular ailment. And a magic circle with a 6-pointed star inside it, where the patient stands while being healed. This man believes he's been cursed. It upsets his balance, and he has difficulty staying upright and focused. The ceremony always takes place at night. Julia purifies the 4 corners of the ritual space with lime juice and perfume. After cleansing the patient, she invokes the staffs, searching for the proper one. Then, it's time to drink the San Pedro. It's part of a group experience dedicated to healing. First, Julia. Then, her assistant. The patients. Doug. And finally, me. It tastes like a bitter, earthy tea. Why the glass 3 times around the head? I have no idea. But when in Peru, the San Pedro is meant to open the patient up to what's hidden inside, and to allow Julia to understand what's causing his problems. With the San Pedro taking effect, Julia goes into a trance, and she sees a plot to bewitch her patient.
Es a una mujer.
She sees a woman. She sees a woman who combs her hair to the left.
Donde tú vives.
He's very close to his leader, I think she said.
Es una.
There's also a man.
Acá arriba, así como una molla.
So most of the people who are coming here are coming not for necessarily physical ailments.
No,
But more
not
spiritual.
at all.
Not at all.
Psychological.
So this is a much more spiritual cleansing.
Exactly.
Julia's skill is treating ailments typically unacknowledged by Western medicine. Curses, charms, and negative energies. Julia has given the patient the proper staff to help restore his power and his balance in the world. She then prescribes a treatment.
Mucho cuidado, ¿ya?
Be very careful.
Mucho cuidado. Tienes que ver nada, nada, nada.
Don't
Porque
accept
ya te tienen
food from
preparadito.
anybody.
Todo por venganza, nomás.
It's all for vengeance that I
No,
did
no le
this
digas
to.
nada.
That's a very common type of curse here in the north.
Por tu enfermedad, para tu familia.
As part of the ceremony, all the participants, except Doug and me, pour liquid tobacco into their noses. It reminds me of the startling jaguar heads I saw in Chavin, the ones with mucus running out of their noses.
In Chavin, they were taking substances that caused the mucous membranes to erupt, basically. Well, we're taking tobacco to the nose. We don't know if they're doing that in Chavin, but we know that tobacco is not Christian, and it's definitely Native American. And the major origin of tobacco in the New World is the eastern side of the Andes, right in this general area.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Doug is sure these rituals have something important to tell us about Chavin.
You look at these ceremonies here, and in spite of the persecution of the Inquisition and 500 years of colonial rule, these curanderos and curanderas have a great deal of prestige at grassroots level. People come from all over the place to come to these healers. I think that's evidence of the fact that there's a continuity around the San Pedro that goes right back to Chavin, and I think the reason Chavin was so successful as a cult center was because it was built on a grassroots tradition, just like this is today. Building on that very powerful grassroots tradition, they were able to then build a political superstructure on top of that. And that's a big part of what Chavin is all about.
And a large part of that has to do with San Pedro cactus. Right.
This evening, the persuasive power of these rituals has been made very clear to me. The same shamanic tradition that Julia uses for healing was exploited by the priests of Chavin to gain absolute political and social power. Participating in a religious ceremony under the guidance of a prominent anthropologist, I had a unique opportunity to experience something of what the initiates in Chavin experienced. About 3 hours or 4 hours after I drank that glass of San Pedro, the effect reached its peak. I started to get very sensitive to light. I started seeing a halo on all the lights around me. And I was here back in my room, and I thought, well, what would it have been like for these people at Chavin to be feeling this way?